You have a limited set of fucks to give, and the very last one should be whether your coworkers like you. Yet you've probably been told in performance reviews, books, and viral videos that
you need to be liked to be successful.
So you're agreeable, helpful, and you go out of your way to not piss anyone off. And you've paid the emotional investment tax for it. But successful people in the world know that their job is not to make friends. They know that the less you care about being liked, the more power, opportunities, and peace you have at work. But here's the thing. This doesn't mean that you need to be a raging jerk, but you do need to stop caring about being liked by people who, let's be honest, do not matter. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to do that. You'll know the 3 switches to escape the likability trap once and for all, and the key mindset shift that will make being disliked as cozy as a warm set of pajamas and a fluffy blanket on a cold night. But first, there is a massive lie that has been completely normalized, and it was designed specifically to keep you caged in the likability trap. The lie is about being liked and what it's costing you. Like any good lie, the likability lie is grounded in the truth. Belonging is a basic human need, and to belong, you need to be liked. But in the modern work world, it is an impossible goal, and it is being weaponized against you. Think about it. How many times have you taken on extra work to get on someone's good side? Frozen when Chad took credit for your work because you didn't want to be seen as difficult, or had your boundaries stomped on to appease someone else's needs. Now, I'm not judging you. We've all been there. But here is the thing. No matter what you do or how perfectly you perform, there will always be people who do not like you. They won't like you because everyone else likes you and not them. They won't like you because you got promoted. They get jealous and they feel inadequate. They despise you for winning when you didn't even know that you were in a competition. But you need to be liked, so you'll bend over backwards to get on their good side anyways, because you need to be liked to succeed, right? Well, there is a simple piece of evidence that proves that that is false. Your toxic coworker who everyone despised got promoted. Now for me, that person was Violet. Violet terrorized everyone in the office, except the higher ups, of course. She bullied junior team members, spread toxic office gossip, and she was universally despised by almost everyone at the company. Yet, she thrived. Being liked by everyone around you might make you feel safe, but in reality, it's self-abandonment disguised as professionalism. The truth is, there are only a few people who do need to like you. When those specific people are in your corner, you can get everything you want at work: promotions, praise, or protection from your toxic coworker. And if you're a woman in a male-dominated industry, you already know that this trap runs deep. You've been held in it by systems that punish you if you don't comply. That's not in your head, and it is exactly why the 3 switches matter. Now, once you've activated all 3, it is not going to matter if your coworkers love you or hate you, because you will have made it irrelevant. The first switch is crucial because without it, the other switches are not going to work, but it's also the one that most people struggle with. The visibility switch. For some reason, awful people have no problem flipping this one on. Like my toxic coworker Violet. She went out of her way at least 3 times a day to brag about herself to the executive leadership team. It's all they heard, so they believed she was exceptional. But the inverse is true as well. Accomplishments are like a tree falling in the woods. If no one observes it, it didn't happen. Yes, if your neighbor's tree falls down and takes a drainage with it, it will make a sound, and then it will flood your basement and ruin your studio. However, I digress. I have a question for you. How many times have you experienced something like this? Your colleague does something toxic. They make a derogatory comment about you, slack off and leave you stuck with the extra work, or they lose their collective shit in a meeting. But they get away with it because they're a so-called high performer. Violet sure did. Now, my first impression of her was actually going ballistic on an entry-level employee who wasn't even on her team in front of half the company over something that didn't even matter. Violet just wanted to ruin their day for funsies. Now, we can have fun diagnosing Violet with different personalities all day, but it wouldn't matter. I mean, she could have been a certified psychopath. I mean, she probably was, but that didn't matter. The unhinged outburst that I just mentioned, executives were in earshot. They knew she was horrible, and they disliked her as a person as well, but they didn't do anything about it because Violet understood something that most people don't. Likability doesn't drive decisions at the top. Visibility does. She was laser focused on initiatives with the highest exposure. It had to have CEO, president, or the board's eyes on her for to do any work. And this is how she built the mirage of irreplaceability. Not because they liked her, but because she seemed invaluable. Now, there are gross ways to activate the likability switch. No Violet vibes required. And I'm going to make it easy AF for you. In the free episode guide, I'm going to give you a simple process to reveal your visibility boosters in 5 minutes or less. So make sure you download it using the link below or the QR code on screen. But one of the easiest ways to activate it is actually to flip the second switch. There is one asset in your career that is so valuable that it isn't just a likability trap escape switch. It is a key factor that will determine whether you struggle or succeed, or if doors don't just swing open for you, but are created just for you. Yet, it's also the asset that people pay the least attention to. Your reputation. No one proves this more than Violet. Not only was Violet universally disliked by like 99% of people at the company, but she wasn't even good at her job. She knew very little about the area that she led, and the knowledge that she did have was really outdated. Her skills were dial-up when everyone else was using 5G. Now, everyone on her team knew that she was incompetent. But do you know who didn't know she was incompetent? And he actually adored her? The top executive at the company. And that is because she was ruthless about managing her reputation with him. Now, despite her complete lack of competence, she marketed herself as an innovative leader. She bragged about herself incessantly. She took credit for other people's work, and she shamelessly pursued useless vanity metrics. Now, there are a few things that you can actually learn from Violet if you actually ignore her personality. And then you can use those lessons to defeat the Violet in your office. First, senior leaders do not participate in office gossip that is below them on the corporate food chain. It's like chatter when you're on a date with someone that you really like. You just tune it out. Senior and executive leaders don't care about gossip on the lower rungs of the hierarchy. It's just noise to them. What leaders do pay attention to is the rumor mill up the ladder, which brings me to the second strategy for building your reputation. Give the right people something to talk about. Now, board people are gonna yap, and that has nothing to do with you. What matters is what's being said about you in rooms full of powerful people. This is something that Violet actually did really well. Those vanity metrics that I mentioned earlier, Violet knew that these pointless wins would not just make her look good. They gave her boss something to brag about to his boss and to their investors, which made them look good. Sound bites sell. Violet unapologetically leveraged unimportant vanity metrics and turned them into reputation-building strategic impact. Now, imagine what will happen when you activate the reputation switch with your actual talent and impact. Honestly, reputation gets seriously underrated and ignored despite the fact that it is so easy to build. And this is something that I actually went into deep in my book, Career Glow Up, because most people accidentally neglect theirs until it's way too late. When you have the right reputation, everyone at every level can hate your guts and you'll still get money, promotions, and opportunities thrown at you. Not only that, it would actually make you immune to the toxic office politics that you really want to avoid, especially once you activate the third switch. This is the one that is going to make you completely untouchable, even to toxic corporate climbers like Violet. This switch is where Violet actually fumbled the bag, and it led immediately to her downfall. Like so many professionals, Violet underrated the importance of strategic relationships. It didn't matter if I liked Violet, if her direct reports liked her, or if most people at the company liked her, but she did need certain people to like her, and she didn't understand that. You put yourself in a position of strength when there are people who can advocate for you in rooms that you are not in. There is a simple reason for that. Being liked is the fastest path to trust. When you like someone, you trust them. When you don't like someone, you don't trust them. Now, there are other ways to establish trust at work. Demonstrating competence is an obvious one, but the shortcut is to be liked. This is how the boys club thrives. Chad Sr. sees himself in Chad Jr., so he likes him and he trusts him. Now, because Chad Sr. trusts Chad Jr., he's going to give him opportunities to prove himself rather than requiring him to earn those opportunities. In Violet's case, her boss did like her. She was a different person around him. She was strategic with that relationship. That and the first two switches kept her safe for a while. But her toxicity didn't just earn her dislike across all levels of the organization. It created a few enemies. Now, I don't know. Maybe she was delusional enough to think that no one had the ability to influence her boss more than she did. And if this tale were a Greek tragedy, this was her point of hubris, because one day, Avery showed up. She was just as ambitious and strategic as Violet. She activated each switch with ease, especially the strategic relationship switch. Avery built the right relationships with the right people across the organization. And actually, at first, Avery and Violet seemed to get along, but one day that changed. Perhaps Violet started feeling threatened by Avery's influence, and she started lashing out at her. Now, what Violet failed to clock was that Avery had established more sway with the boss, and with the number of enemies that Violet made, it didn't take long for Avery to find info that would turn her boss against her. And once they turned, There was no one who could save her. Her boss froze her out. Then she was pushed out of the company. Now, there is one map that you should be crystal clear on. Who makes decisions about your career and who influences them? Not only can they advocate for you, they can create opportunities for you. I know this because it happened to me. I worked in the same office as a senior level leader who was several rungs up the ladder than me. She was a badass and I admired and I respected her so much. Due to proximity, she had some exposure to my work and I had been somewhat intentional with the first two switches. So this third one came along easily. She ended up drawing a doorway for me that didn't exist. And that door led to multiple rapid promotions, which was awesome. But as we discussed earlier, success pisses some people off. And if this had happened earlier in my career, I would have been desperate to fix it. I would have spun my wheels, desperately trying to be liked by someone who was committed to despising me no matter what I did. But I had this key mindset shift that didn't just free me from the stress of that situation. It is what ultimately freed me from the likability trap. And it's gonna do the same for you. Whether someone likes you or not is none of your business. Of course, I'm nothing like Violet. I don't terrorize people for fun, and I would never go out of my way to make someone else's life miserable. Well, unless they deserved it. But how someone receives my actions that have positive intent has absolutely nothing to do with me. This became particularly important when I left my startup exec career to start my business and my YouTube channel. Let me tell you, being a woman on the internet is not for the weak at heart. But since I learned to detach, not only did my corporate career become a lot easier and more successful, my entire life changed. In fact, I think the most important thing that you can do to avoid drama, toxicity, and stress at work is to detach yourself from it. It's not as hard as it sounds. Actually, I want you to go watch this video next where I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. I'll see you over there, bestie.